Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as C-Man. Now I want to welcome you to another edition of the C-Man's Cinema Sit Down. I'm not going to lie to you. It's nice to have some new content to talk about, man. We've had a bunch of new movies come out recently over the last couple weeks. And, I've watched a few of these movies. And unfortunately, I have friends who like to rip on me because I very rarely give bad reviews. And usually my answer to that is, well, while I watch almost anything, typically I try to see movies that I think I'll like, and that usually ends up being the case. I know myself quite well, and more often than not, I can see the positives in a movie, and I can enjoy it. I just enjoy the movies. But I always say to them, I'm fair. I'll tell you what's good with the movie. I'll tell you what's bad with the movie. But usually I'm more pro good. Anyone that's wanted to see the C-Man give a bad review, an intensely bad review, where there's almost nothing good to talk about, well, you've arrived, folks. In case you didn't think I could do it, you're about to see it right now. What are we talking about? Why don't you pull up a chair, man, take a seat. We are getting ready to dive in, spoiler-free, into Artemis Fowl. Man, I tell you, I don't remember the last time I was so unbelievably disappointed with a movie. Even if it was something that I wanted to see and I saw it got bad reviews, I'm still, I still usually get enough out of a film to go, well, it was worth it. This one just, it's a head scratcher on how Disney could get this so wrong. Now, I have never read the Artemis Fowl books, but from what I understand, criminal mastermind in a world that has fantasy worlds, right? Like there's fairies and goblins and trolls. That's a realm I'm a real big fan of. And the general look to Mr. Artemis Fowl has a lot of like a Men in Black or a James Bond type feel, man. He's suit and tied up. And when we saw our first trailers, I specifically said, like, yes, he's a criminal mastermind, but, like, you get the feeling of James Bond, man, with the look, and the fact that it looked like it was a movie that was going to be like one of those globe-trotting movies. Like, hey, here's something that we need Artemis to go steal to, save the world or something like that because he's a good guy. Boom, go on your quest to go find that thing. That's what the trailers made it seem like. Certainly, trailers made me think that the fantasy element was going to be cool. I mean, we got one of the most gorgeous shots I've seen in a trailer in the last year or so, when that white fairy woman came up and was floating in the trailer. That was the moment where you're like, whoa, like check that. That's beautiful. Want to know a secret? I know I said no spoilers. One spoiler? That's not in the movie at all. When you like, you're a place like Disney, and you have something like, okay, criminal mastermind got to go steal a thing, but we're gonna play with a fantasy realm. They don't play with the fantasy realms at all in this movie. It certainly feels like a lot of stuff may have ended up on the editing floor. The middle of the movie feels like it's missing some things. Like there are moments where Artemis and another character clearly don't like each other. And then, 2 minutes later, it's like, hey, let's be best friends. And I'm like, wait, huh? How'd that happen? I don't really understand what just, he just caught you, and you were really angry at him. And then, 2 minutes later, you're not angry anymore. It feels like stuff got chopped up in this movie. But, outside of just not playing with the fantasy elements well, yes, we do get to see the fairy world, and it's cool looking. We get, one of them flyby overviews, and then we're just kind of, inside rooms, and you're like, why'd you show me this really, really cool thing? And then we never play inside that really, really cool thing. We don't go to any other fantasy worlds. Pretty much, this movie doesn't really go anywhere. It's a siege movie to more or less. I'd say 75, almost 80% of the film takes place in Fowl Manor, which I wasn't expecting at all. And just I'm a big fan of fantasy. And there's so many cool things. I mean, look at Onward. Perfect example, coming from the same company. Onward crushes all the fantasy stuff. Now, granted, it's an animated flick, but like it dove and it leaned into that stuff. This movie doesn't do that. This movie doesn't do that to the point where we have fairies, and the only fairy thing about the fairies in the movie, they got pointy ears. They don't even have wings. Their wings, spoiler, are mechanical. Like, it's a piece of technology that allows them to fly. And while, like, you know, the first time you see, like, the wings come up and they take off, you're like, oh, that's cool, but, like, fairies don't need to do that. Fairies have wings. Oh, man. So, right out the bat, this movie just failed on the fantasy element. You know, like, and we do get to see a troll at one point, and you know, there are like some fantasy character, but I was just like, eh. But okay, all right. I'm pretty good at finding good and bad in a movie. So let's all right. We know that Disney screwed up the fantasy part of the movie. Let's put the fantasy stuff over here. Let's focus on Artemis Fowl. Criminal mastermind, right? And his dad, also criminal mastermind. For a movie that features two criminals, one in particular for an entire, basically the whole movie, we never see them steal anything. Nothing. We don't see anything get stolen. We see, like, news reports that, like, Colin Farrell's, you know, Artemis Fowl Sr. may have stole something, may have been up to some no good. We never see it at all. I don't even know how you could call Artemis Fowl Jr. a criminal mastermind. What is his criminal masterminding works? Like, I just don't get it. Like, so frustrating because I was so excited for this movie because the trailers look so good. But on top of the fact that, like, you know, we just don't play with the criminal mastermind element of this world. You know, Ferdia Shaw, who plays Artemis Fowl, I don't think he was very good. And I don't know if it was him and his acting was just or they just didn't give him anything. Like, it's so minimal, the amount of things that they give him to do. Like, for his criminal mastermind to work and figure things out, the puzzle he's got to solve, per se, in this movie, like, I just wasn't impressed with Shaw at all. Like, at all. Like, here's your lead character. I should be buying in. I should be a Ferdia Shaw fan by the end of this movie. Like, I want to see everything this kid does. I probably will never watch anything else that he makes unless it features other people that I'm like, ooh, I'd see that. But, like, it felt like a big miss. Like, here's an opportunity. Take some young talent, put it on display. And I just didn't think it was put on display at all. So now we've struck out on the fantasy realm. We've struck out on Artemis Fowl. What about some of the supporting cast? We got Dame Judi Dench in this movie. Maybe my least favorite Judi Dench performance of all time, because she talks like this the whole movie. Like, she just puts this crazy, like, I don't understand why that's her voice. Like, why is it that because she's a fairy, well, you know, I'm gonna talk down here? Made no sense at all. Like, I just didn't get it, and I didn't like it. I found it annoying more than anything most of the movie. However, there is one kind of cool thing that kind of pertains to her character when we're in that, like, fairy fantasy place where they're kind of like it's almost like she's like a military operator almost. Like, she's the one who's running the siege. One of her team members is a centaur. I'm not gonna lie, the CGI on the centaur is pretty bad, but I watched the centaur go upstairs, and I was surprised. I was like, ooh, I've never seen a centaur walk upstairs. There's one positive for it. I do have one positive. We'll get to Mr. Josh Gad, who I adore. But even him, I had issues with. But, like, the CGI on the centaur, not good. Not good. Actually, a lot of the CGI in this movie is not good. But we're focusing on the supporting cast, right? So, Dame Judi Dench, really, really bad accent, annoys me most of the movie, and also didn't really do very much. So that's a swing and a miss. So we'll put her over there. Then we have, I hate when these things, oh yeah, Colin Farrell. We got Colin Farrell in this movie playing Artemis Fowl Sr. Now, besides the fact that Artemis Fowl Sr. we don't see him do any criminal masterminding in the movie. He's barely in the movie at all. And one of the best actors on the planet. Again, give them nothing. Just nothing to do. Like, just nothing. Like, I was so upset about that because here's a world where you have Artemis Fowl Sr., criminal mastermind, Artemis Fowl Jr., criminal mastermind who's up and coming. I want to see the two of them go do some criminal masterminding. Even if they're good criminals, they're stealing things for the right reasons. Nah, we're not going to give you any of that. Perhaps the thing, the MacGuffin in this movie that everyone's running after, that's the thing that Colin Farrell stole. Maybe we started the movie with, like, watching him steal it and then figuring out that, like, it's going to go someplace that's not the manor. That's my thing, man. If you wanted to make a good Artemis Fowl movie, it took me literally 2 minutes to think of this. Artemis Fowl Sr. steals the MacGuffin that we need in the movie. We watch him steal it to open the film. He gives it to somebody and says, go put it somewhere safe. Boom, gone. Could have been an interesting, fun action sequence. And then Artemis got to go find this thing. Instead, we don't get to see that. And Artemis has to find the thing that's in the house. So, like, there's no... The adventure, there's no adventure to it, man. How about Laura McDonnell, who plays Holly Short? She is, Artemis's fairy buddy, pal, that he has in the movie, kind of works with. That's the character I mentioned before, where, like, they don't like each other, and then all of a sudden 2 minutes later, they're best friends. And I was just like, what? And I like Laura McDonnell, which she does some things where I was like, this could have been a cool character. We could have made this work. Like, seeing her and Artemis go globe hopping around, that could have been fun, but no, their relationship didn't really make any sense to me. And then there's, like, this underlining B story with her that ties into the overall story, and it's like, well, I just don't care because I don't have any feelings. If we would have said, like I said, have Senior steal this thing and then pass this MacGuffin off to said person who maybe has something to do with Holly Short, that could have been interesting. Maybe give me a reason to care more about her character, but no. So even though Laura McDonnell tries, I just didn't. Just also over here not working. Then who else do we got? We've got Nonso Anozie, who plays Domovoy Butler. Interesting character, right? Man, he's got the bleach blonde hair, the crystal blue eyes. I'm like, this guy's gonna be cool. We see in the trailer he's got, like, that cool gun, and, like, some of that was actually a cool moment. That scene where Artemis and him are walking, and Artemis is playing with this gun and does things. That was cool. I wanted to see more of that technology. Give me more of that stuff. But no. And then outside of that, I mean, Domovoy doesn't really get a ton to do in the movie. Outside of, like, being, like, that emotional linchpin that's supposed to punch you in the gut when something happens, but, like, didn't really understand, like, I wanted more of that relationship between him and Artemis Jr. Like, why do they care about each other? Why are they in this together? Why are they None of that. So, even though, Nonso looked great, just, again, not a whole lot to do. So, Domovoy, you can go over here too. And now we've pretty much just run out of. There is a bad guy. There's a villain who wears a hood, and we never see their face the whole movie. And they do some weird thing that's like what Colin Farrell's trapped in, and the way they try to kill. Like, that could have been cool, but none of it was explained. I have no clue who this person is. Just nothing. I couldn't even tell you who the actor was because I never saw a face. I don't even know what the name of the character was. This over here. Now I got just a table full of bad stuff. Leaves one thing. There's one thing. One person that can maybe save this review. Josh Gad, who plays Mulch Diggums, who is a dwarf. He's a giant dwarf. Dwarfish Giganticus, I believe he says it a bunch of times. This movie almost made me hate Josh Gad. It's one of those movies where, like, he's, like, captured, he's in prison or imprisoned, and he's telling the story, so we sit on this shot of him a bunch, and he just tells us things, and I'm like, again, also his accent. Down here for no reason. And it's like, Josh Gad is always up high. Okay, yeah. The accent does grow on you by the midway point of the movie, but the setup, I was just like, this is what we're going to use Josh Gad for? I don't want to see that. And then his interesting thing, dwarves are thieves, so okay, that fits into the movie, sure. And Mulch Diggums, it's almost literal, because he digs, and to dig, instead of using his hands, he breaks off his jaw, which, again, bad CGI, makes this huge mouth gullet thing, and then he eats the dirt. So Diggum. And I guess you could say he almost turns that dirt into mulch, because when he eats, and this happens, the first time you see him dig a hole, you will see this. The dirt flies out his backside. And I'm not talking about his back. I'm talking about his ass and where things come out. I saw it and I was like, what? Did that just happen in a Disney movie? Oh, do you see what I'm dealing with? This movie is just, it's so bad that it made me dislike Josh Gad until he gets actually involved in the movie. When Josh Gad is brought into the film at Fowl Manor, I started to come around on his character. Mulch Diggums is my favorite thing in this movie. The accent started to work for me, and just what they were having him do started to work, and I was like, you know what? Josh Gad, you saved my review. Thank you, Josh Gad. You gave me one legitimate positive in this movie. Josh Gad's good. He's funny. His jokes hit more often than they don't. And I enjoyed watching him do his thing because it was a character and something that we'd never seen him do before. And he's such a great character actor. That this role allowed him to do some things I hadn't seen Josh Gad do before. And I went, this Artemis Fowl just confirmed that for me, Josh Gad's a great actor. He really is. He's a great character actor. And he somehow made a character that shouldn't have worked. The way this movie was going, Mulch Diggums should definitely not have worked. But he did because Josh Gad is awesome. So, yeah. Josh, Mulch Diggums, we're going to put you over here. The one sole thing in the movie that was a plus. And now we will probably never see an Artemis Fowl movie ever again. Or maybe we will. It was released on Disney+. It wasn't released in theaters, so there's no box office for the movie to make. You can't say it was a bomb. It didn't succeed because we don't know. So maybe they'll take the reviews and all the harsh criticism that everybody's throwing at this movie. Well-deserved criticism. And Kenneth Branagh directed this movie. It's such a mess. I just don't see Artemis Fowl. I don't know. I would love to see this done correctly. Like I said, if you were to approach an Artemis Fowl movie where you have seniors steal it, get the MacGuffin wherever, and then just send Artemis on an actual adventure with, Domovoy and Holly, it could have worked. Show us more cool technology. Give me better CGI. I don't know. I've talked for over 15 minutes on Artemis Fowl. How did that happen? Like that, I'm at a loss for words. So we're gonna end it. Artemis Fowl is not a good movie. It's bad, just flat out bad. I wouldn't even recommend going to sit. You don't have to go anywhere. You can watch it on. I wouldn't even recommend watching it. It's that bad. One of the worst movies I've seen in quite some time. I was so disappointed that I've been rambling now. So I'm gonna end it. That's all I gotta say about Artemis Fowl. Now I want to know what you're thinking. Did you watch this piece of garbage? Did you watch garbage burned for almost 2 hours? What did you think? Was it burning garbage? Were there more positives? Did I miss something? Did it work from the book? I mean, I don't know anybody say anything good about this. Do you have anything good to say about this movie? If you do, please put that down below. I'd be fascinated. Anything but Josh Gad. Anything good but Josh Gad. Put that down below. And then outside of that, like, did you really not like the movie? What would you say? Would you recommend this to anybody? I don't know. If you haven't seen the movie, do you want to? I don't think I would want to after hearing me talk about it, but maybe you do, because you never get to hear the Seaman say anything, but I don't know. Whatever you're thinking about Artemis Fowl, bad, worst, or maybe good, it can go down below in the comment section. I look forward to talking to you guys down there. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Hopefully you enjoyed this more than Artemis Fowl. As always, if you're new, you want to come hang out with the Seaman more often, want me to pop up into your feed, things like that, show us some love, jump over there, hit that subscribe button, hit the little bell if you want those alerts. And until next time, I promise we'll have hopefully something better to talk about than Artemis Fowl. I hope. But until then, for the Seaman Cinema Sit Down, I've been the Seaman. I'm signing off. I'm a defeated human being. Peace. Well, you guys are still here. You must be looking for some more content. Well, don't worry. Seaman's got you covered, man. You got videos like this guy and this guy. And if you haven't yet, and you want to come check out all the Seaman goodies, join the Cinema Sit Down squad, man. Hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the little bell down below that, too, so you can get alerts every time I make new videos.